when I was in my BTech, we used to have a 250 MB internet pack, which is for 1 month, and it will come through a dial-up modem, and at a rate of I think 10 kilobytes per second. Okay, YouTube was impossible to see. Like at that time, YouTube was launched. It was very difficult to stream, buffer for a long time. Now you see in 10 years what has happened.
Because you are making a business, product is the center of it, but around it there's marketing, sales, operations, research, right?
MetaQuest headset, if you look at, so they are now focusing a lot on mixed reality. Mixed reality is like you put the headset, but your real world is still visible. It's just like AR, but a immersed AR, where you see this world in color.
Developing this whole startup and everything, what made you actually leave the job, right? Because you wanted to come here full time, right? So when you were on your job and doing this part time, how was it like to work there? Like what were the domains which you were doing it? And I believe that your co-founders are also from engineering background, right? Everyone is from IIT. Then how did you learn the business aspect of it? Because you are making a business, product is the center of it, but around it there's marketing, sales, operations, research, right? How did you figure out everything? Because you didn't have a background there. What was the...
So I was actually I was actually the head of the incubator of IIT Ropar for 1.5 years. So during that process, I was handholding multiple startups. I started, I was also a member of TIE Chandigarh. I used to meet a lot of entrepreneurs there, and I used to see that how these people, many of them not from any tech background, how they have built businesses, and that gave me a confidence on hum bhi bana lenge. Kind of, we felt like people with less education or relatively less tech talent and being able to run tech companies, and Chandigarh has a lot of actually smaller IT companies around it, and so looking at them and understanding these people are able to do it, and I started learning. I used to go to their sessions, and in IIT what I did is I started a course. I started teaching. One way of actually learning anything I have found is I teach it. I take it up as a challenge. I learn that thing, lecture by lecture I prepare and then start teaching. So in fact, machine learning I am now probably recognized as a relatively, expert in terms of, because a lot of my research has now moved into machine learning. But 5-6 years back, I didn't have machine learning background. It was more of signal processing. I understood overall, but then doing ML and actually implementing AI, that was not not part of my research earlier. So what I did is I started teaching my PhD students. I used to learn a few concepts. I would teach, and then for 1 year I taught my PhD students. Through that I created a lot of material, and then next year I floated a course and I started teaching BTech students. Few years I taught, and then those ideas then started trickling into my research. And a lot of my research work then started happening around that. And now both of my startups here, Magnimus and Epilepto, they use a lot of AI on their backend, and I probably code most of it. So one thing which has happened after coming out of IT is the coder in me, which was like, because of a lot of other administrative work and other things, it was a lot of development work. I personally would do less and less, because it was becoming a lot of administration, and you would rather just guide different students how to do things. But because of that, development with the current technologies, that had taken a backseat. So now it has come back again. I am now even today I have coded probably 5 hours in the morning. So that's the way so that has come back to me. And I probably like that aspect of me. Yeah.
You are like you are just going back into time and discovering yourself.
Yeah, discovering myself. In fact, that is one aspect of my life which is a little not that well known, is after my when I was in US I went to US for 2 years for doing postdoc. I was very much before that in IIT Madras. I was the one of the leading members of Vivekananda Study Circle. So IIT Madras has a very old group. It's like a student group, but it's a very old group. It's 20, 25 years old. It has, it's called Vivekananda Study Circle, VSC. You can search. So I was active member of it. So I got a lot of involvement in Vivekananda's ideas and Indian spirituality. I have a lot of and have read a lot of scriptures, and Sanskrit also. I know a little bit from that perspective. So in when I was in US, when I left, I had a very strong feeling that I wanted to come back to India. Although there was, if I would have liked, probably I could have lived there also, because I wanted to explore the spiritual side of mind a very little more seriously. So I left the US job and came here. I went to Himalayas for Himalayas. I went to different parts of country, explored different ashrams for about 1 year, 8 months or so, to discover that what is that purpose in life that I want to probably explore or want to go deep into. Then I realized after doing all that I am a scientist at the core of my heart, and it still attracted me. I still like technology, product development, other things. So then I started. Then I came back, applied for jobs, got IIT Ropar, and then went there.
You actually resonate very much. Exploring yourself is a really big part, and
in fact, because of that background, the current startup that other startup where we are doing significantly, the product is developing. It's not as matured as Magnimus, but Epilepto actually we have now pivoted. We have pivoted into building a product in meditation and pranayam space. So in my journey in meditation and spiritual space, I found that we have a lot of applications now on, say, smartwatch and other things in which you can measure your fitness. You measure how many steps you took, how many hours you worked out, and so there is a measurement leads to motivation. You can compare with your colleagues. You can see, okay, that guy is running so much, so I should also do. Or, oh, my heart rate overall has increased, I should start working out. All those things are there. Similar feedback is not available for someone who is into meditation, pranayam and other yogic practices. So we thought that if we can build something on which can leverage the power of sensors on smartwatches and build this kind of pipeline of biofeedback, and then also build a community around it, like Strava. We have Strava app for runners. Similarly, so they can share, like, okay, I ran this much, others can comment, others can like, they comment. Similarly, for example, if you are reading, say, Vivekananda or reading some Sri Aurobindo, and you like a passage, you can share, others will comment. So life-giving, elevating ideas, people, and create a social media around these rather than frivolous social media, something which is related to this, and people will also be able to share their practices, share their biofeedback results, and create a community around this. That's what we are building around, and it is coming out well. We have not yet raised any funds in that, but I believe in few months we'll have a good product around that. Yeah.
Okay, great. Because you're also building two startups together, right? And Magnimus is the more mature one, right? And how do you look at the AR VR industry in India right now? Is it growing? At what rate it is going? And under AR VR, what are the different sectors where more startups are getting their products built? Right? I believe that AR VR, I have seen it into three sectors. The first is the construction and co-living industry, that where you construct building apartments into AR and you provide it to the customers. That's a startup which I saw. The other is gaming, you all know. The third, which you are building, which is related to somewhere to health, right? So how is the industry moving right now in India? And someone who is starting up into the AR VR, right? What are the metrics which they should look at?
Yeah, correctly you said that In AR VR, actually AR VR is a term which is just because people relate to it, you say AR VR. We call it XR. You know, XR, or now Apple actually I think has created a new term called spatial computing. Because AR VR, again, AR means augmented reality. Like generally these are like you have phone on which you look through the phone, and there are certain virtual objects that can be created on phone. There is VR. VR is virtual reality, where you put a virtual reality headset, your sense of reality goes away. Okay, and you enter into another world. In that world, you can simulate anything. But VR has its limitations because you lose the sense of reality. You lose what is happening in the world, and some people also feel a little uncomfortable in VR. That is also one issue. Um, then the new technologies that are coming up, and if you see the new Oculus headsets, basically, yeah, MetaQuest headset, if you look at, so they are now focusing a lot on mixed reality. Mixed reality is like you put the headset, but your real world is still visible. It's just like AR, but a immersed AR, where you see this world in color. And then if you have a few things you can create, you have demons. For example, the primary product of Magnimus right now is actually Vital Nights. It's a mixed reality product in which you wear the headset, and then you'll see that the walls will open up. The walls, there will be portals, there will be demons entering through the walls of your house. It's like that one, what was that? Okay, I forgot that there was a Netflix series in which there was a nether world from which objects used to enter into. Stranger Things, yes, Stranger Things. So it's like Stranger Things, okay? So you can create things in the house, and then you have to exercise. For example, to shoot a minion, you have to do squats, okay? Or you have to take a virtual gun and then shoot them, or virtual hammer and then hit them. So through that, you actually work out. And there are different realms that have created: fire realm, water realm. Each one will have their own, what to say, flavor to them. So that's our one of our major products in mixed reality that we're building. So mixed reality has other applications, as I said, in as you were saying, in real estate and interior design space. I was building one application few days back. I posted on my LinkedIn that in my home I created a environment of mixed reality for interior design. So I had chairs, tables, vase, and using your hands, because in mixed reality it has a very good hand detection. You can actually see your hands, and through this hand you can pick up virtual objects. So you'll pick up the table, a chair. Suppose this chair, let me try it by putting it there. You put it there, put something here and there, and then you can change different things in the room, change the color of light, and see how things look like. So that can have a good application, I feel, in interior design. Of course, maximum movement in AR VR space or in XR space is in gaming right now. If you go to MetaQuest store, and the biggest company right now working on this space is Meta. So why it has become very big at a point? Because Meta took so much interest into it. Meta has put almost all their balls in this basket. And even though there was a pushback from their investors probably, or from customers, but still Mark Zuckerberg, it seems like, is pretty much sold to this, and is pushing around this. And in fact, we are closely working with we are in discussions with Meta sometimes, and they have a very broad vision of where this product will go, and how they will create different virtual spaces in mixed reality. And those guidelines through which we should create good mixed reality experiences. So those are there. Yeah.
Okay. When you tell that, okay, Meta is the biggest company which is making these products into the AR VR space. Why do you think that suddenly AR is the talk of town? Right? ऐसा क्या चीज़ है that what is the vision which these people have कि AR में इतना भरोसा आ रहा है. What is that thing?
So, what happened in COVID actually, I would say, was a important milestone in humanity, okay, in the human evolution. Because what happened in COVID is that uh, before COVID, for example, if you would ask someone, okay, I have to do an online meeting with you, people look at you, or they will say that, okay, online meeting, okay, I have to download Skype somewhere. Skype was the only thing probably known at that time. I used to work with a lot of doctors, and doctors are very, what to say, tech averse many times. They do not, they stick to whatever they know. They generally don't explore multiple technologies. But during COVID, a lot of doctors, almost everyone, they learned how to use online meeting, and even after COVID now, they have understood the value of it, and now they do online meeting. Now a lot of like I was in IIT Ropar as a faculty, and most of our meetings, even if we call someone for interview, it will be like physical only. So in the overall government setup, everything has to be done physically. Okay, even if it is a 5-minute thing, it has to be done physically. And how much money is required to do that? You have to, travel maybe by cab or flight or do something. While the same thing could have been done in online. And many times the initial meetings nowadays happen online. And after that, there is some serious conversation that has to be done. That probably can be done in a physical mode. And because of that, our span of collaborations have improved hugely. Now, for example, doing meetings, even somebody who is sitting in Amsterdam, US, UK, the friction to create that meeting happen has really reduced because of the online comfort of everyone increasing. So what has happened in those 2 years of COVID is that we have taken a jump of 10 years in technology. In 10 years in terms of technologies adoption, or people becoming comfortable with tech. You will see a lot of this. So from that background, I would say what has Meta or these companies have thought that, can we create these these online presence, online meetings or online interactions, how close to human like or lifelike can we make it? Can we have one day, for example, I don't know if you are aware of, if you have seen Matrix movie I've seen, that was one of my favorite movies at that time. And I used to fascinate at that time, and probably whether this, what you are seeing right now is real, it is also not guaranteed. This may even be like you, if you're in a dream and you're seeing yourself sitting in this, you might wake up and you find, okay, that was a dream. Okay. So similarly, if we can simulate in some ways that you forget or you get into another world where it all appears completely real. Right now, of course, the current stage of technologies, you can distinguish. When you go into VR, you see that cartoonish characters or little bit where you can distinguish what is like this is a virtual world. But all technologies happen like this. You see any tech, initially it appears like this, and after few years, what happens is many times in tech, the growth is a hockey stick growth. It slowly grows. Everybody thinks, okay, nothing, everything is happening. It suddenly shoots like this, and it completely new world emerges in front of you when that happens. For example, if you see the movement of NLP, natural language processing, it was something which you used to teach as a part of our machine learning course towards the end. Okay, ठीक है, LSTM लगाना, RNN LSTM you have to put, and then this predicts the next word. But by the what happened with ChatGPT, 1 year back, it was, nobody thought that this was possible. This level of AI has already been reached. People thought this will happen in 10 years, but suddenly it came out of nowhere. Similar things have happened with earlier revolutions. For example, internet coming, and internet now in my for example, when I was in my BTech, we used to have a 250 MB internet pack, which is for 1 month, and it will come through a dial-up modem, and at a rate of I think 10 kilobytes per second. Okay, YouTube was impossible to see. Like at that time FT was launched, it was very difficult to stream buffer for a long time. Now you see in 10 years what has happened. We have almost unlimited data availability. We are like, we can download GBs, within seconds. So all this, if you would say that in 10 years, if I would go back 10 years and I would say to my 10 years back, personality that this is going to happen, he would find it hard to believe that this is the speed at which technology will change.
Yeah.
Okay. We want to discuss this, that okay, you have worked at many institutions, you did your PhD, postdoc and all, but what if, like, and we could actually edit it out if you are uncomfortable, but I want to know this, that okay, what if today these startups doesn't work out, right? What should you think about it? That because you might have thought, right? Then as an entrepreneur, what is your mindset that अगर ये नहीं चला तो क्या?
See, most startups, I am also aware because I used to teach entrepreneurship, as I said. From the statistics, 80% startups, there is a death curve, what you call it, like first year how many startups die, next year. So in 3 to 4 years after a startup is started, 80% chance that dies. Okay, because there are multiple issues which can come up. Co-founder issues. I have in fact dealt with multiple co-founder issues within our startups. Then we have funding issues. Funding might dry out. You may not get the next business. Right now, if we see, we have moved here, right now, if we see, for example, this kind of startup, this health tech startup, digital health tech startup, both of them, they were like the talk of the hottest cake 3 years back when it was COVID time. COVID time, if you would just put out this idea that I am building in the metaverse, a gaming thing, or a health-based gaming thing which you can work out at home, people will throw money at you, like there was this crypto thing at that time. You see how people are throwing money at people. Just any idea was being funded. Now the market has reversed. Now there is no money in the market. Very difficult to raise venture funding for last 1 year or now. I think this may change in some time. So venture funding also goes through their own cycles. But I have So the way we are building our startup is we have not raised any venture funding. The one funding we have raised is from IIT Mandi, that is through a convertible note. But most of the funding that we have is the way we do both B2B and B2C. We are building our B2C products, but we have a B2B operations through which we get products. We build products for businesses in AR, VR, app, hardware space, and then through the revenues that we get through that, we fund our B2C products, which can one day become into products which can then bring in revenue. And ultimately B2C is always for example, product companies versus service companies. Okay, so we have a service wing, we have a product wing. Okay, we take services, we make money through that and channelize through products to our products and to build products. That is a slower way. Rather than raising directly from VCs, you might be able to focus only on product and build faster. But there are multiple issues which can happen when you take VC money. One is, now the VC sits over you. The guy or they would have certain like you should completely focus on what they are saying, or whatever products you have or product development that you have promised, that is the one you have to focus. So, and then the pressure of delivering as per the VC's expectation, as per the shareholder agreement, those things are there. And then the VC will be thinking, okay, I have to get an exit in next 5 years. So you have to then scale, blitzkrieg scaling, all those things would come up, which will automatically bring in pressure to. That is also one way of developing. And second is, if the market does not, for example, VC funding right now in the market is dried up. So most of the startups which had raised at very high valuations earlier, are suffering now because they are not able to raise any other funding, because when you raise another round, it is expectation is that you will raise at a higher round. Now the previous rounds is so high and the current market is so dry. So many startups are struggling. You don't see positive news coming out of market over last 1 year in startup space. Before that year, everyone was talking about, okay, India got so many unicorns, IIT Delhi has so many unicorns. Is it not? So within 1 or 2 years, you see the difference in the narrative around startups, how it has happened. So that's the way we are right now building aggressively within, but we are building in a different way of self-sustainable way, in which we don't have pressure, or we are not what to say clamoring around how to raise the next round of funding immediately. That is the aspect. And yeah, from the perspective of what if it doesn't work out, see, that is expected, because 80% of startups try. If it and most entrepreneurs who have been successful, you will see that they are not a one-time success. They try one thing, they fail, then they try another thing, fail. You will see that when you see a successful entrepreneur, you have to go to his history. You will see that it will be streaked with a lot of failures, from which they learn how not to repeat that failure next. And probably I had a lot of failures, not exactly in entrepreneurial domain before. So I come in with that experience. Although I have my co-founders who are probably building their first startup, I have a couple more which I've built, but I would say, more life experience than them probably. And I have been able to resolve many such issues which had come up, because I understand human dynamics, human emotions. And so that way you have to probably leave your ego, leave your some entitlements for other person to feel comfortable. And you have to keep in mind that what is good for company in the long term, and you have to take decision as per that, rather than, for example, I am actually taking a very little salary now compared to what I was making at IIT Ropar. Okay, so that's the sacrifice that we are doing for building the company, and everyone is all of the co-founders are sacrificing, and that sacrifice is what builds the equity in the company.